In this video, I want to discuss a case with you, the decision of which we've just received, and it's a very good decision. It gives or awards 2 years' salary to a client of mine. The background to this case, though, is an interesting one, and the decision that we had to face was a decision, or was an important one at the outset. In other words, under which law, under which act would we bring the claim? I had no doubt that this man was unfairly dismissed. However, the difficulty was that he had got, not so much the difficulty, but from a compensation point of view, he got a new job fairly quickly. In other words, his loss, his financial loss, which is all he was entitled to under the Unfair Dismissals Act 1977, would only have been perhaps a month's salary, and that compensation would not have been sufficient to make it worth his while to pursue the case. However, the fact of the matter is that he also had another avenue open to him, and that was to bring a claim under the Employment Equality Act 1998 for discrimination. The reason for that is because he was dismissed whilst he was out sick, and we made the argument, or made the case, made the claim basically, that because he was out sick and he was suffering from a disability at this particular point in time, and the act of dismissing him for having failed to submit a sick cert within a certain period of time was a discriminatory act, and essentially it was a discriminatory dismissal. Unlike the Unfair Dismissals Act 1977, however, the compensation that can be awarded under the Employment Equality Act for discrimination is not financial loss. It's up to 2 years' salary by way of compensation for the act of discrimination, and that's what we went for. So we dropped the unfair dismissal claim and we brought the claim for discrimination under the Employment Equality Act 1998 on the basis that it was an act of discrimination and a discriminatory or discrimination-based dismissal. The adjudicator dealt with the case fairly, in my view, dealt with it well, and came to the same conclusion that we did. That was that he was poorly treated and essentially discriminated against, and we found in our favour. We won the case and he has been awarded 2 years' salary. So the important distinction here, though, and the important lesson to draw from this case is, if you are bringing a claim and you've been unfairly dismissed and there's a possibility also of discrimination, you may have to choose between the discrimination and the unfair dismissal. In fact, you will have to choose, and it may be far more profitable for you to go with the discrimination claim rather than the unfair dismissal, because remember, the unfair dismissal claim can only result in financial loss, and your financial loss is going to be very small if you have been successful in getting a new job very quickly. That won't punish the employer for the act of discrimination, whereas the discrimination under the Employment Equality Act will lead to compensation of up to 2 years, and that has persuasive and dissuasive sanction effect on the employer, and will discourage discrimination in the workplace under one of the 9 grounds of discrimination. So it is important to get advice at the outset from somebody who knows employment law, and do be careful that you bring your claim under the correct act, because if you don't, you could end up with a Pyrrhic victory. That is, a victory that will involve compensation of less than perhaps the cost it's taken you to bring the claim. But in this case, obviously 2 years' salary is the maximum that we could have been awarded. That's what we were awarded. It's a very satisfactory result for me, very satisfactory result for my client, and it is an instructive lesson in choosing which act to bring your claim under. I hope you find this video useful. If you do, you might give it the thumbs up down below. You may also be interested in subscribing to my YouTube channel. If you are interested in Irish law or Irish business, simply hit the subscribe button down below and click on the bell icon, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video, and I put up a new video twice a week.